we're going to bring up your next speaker. That's going to be the wonderful, magnificent Chris James.
If you talk about how much you hate your fat, your body has been working all this time to keep you alive.
I don't think anybody in my circle understands it. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Hey man, that intro is fire, man.
Hey man, every time it gets me. Every time.
Every time. I'm gonna have
What's
Clever
going
put
on,
one
people?
together. I'm gonna have
What's going on, family?
Oh, what
First
up?
time
What up?
catching alive.
Oh, you're blessed, cause we're gonna spit some hot fire today.
Live from the UK. Oh, we international, baby.
Greetings from over the pond.
Texas, Houston in the building, H-Town. First time seeing the intro. Okay.
Yeah, we all over the map.
What up,
Dallas.
girl? Yeah, see, there you go. TX, Texas in the building.
Yeah, we got a big community in Texas.
Oh, Dallas. Yeah, yeah, okay. New York, okay. Sacramento, okay. We coast to coast.
Did
now,
we go to Sacramento?
We did. A few years ago.
A couple
Was
years
it
ago,
2
we
years
was out.
ago?
Yeah, it's probably about maybe it was
2.
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years. This because we went like during it was 2 years.
It was around this time, 2 years ago. Yep. Ohio, that's our hometown, kind of. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining. It's been a little while since we've done a live like this. You know, the dynamic duo getting back together. I want to, before we get started on the main topic, I want to let you all know that the ticket sales for the retreat are coming to a close soon. We're going to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, to do our live event. Stephen Michael's going to be there. Jasmine's going to be there. Coach Mel's going to be there. Shelby's going to be there. We got a special guest coming. Have I announced the special guest yet?
No.
Mississippi is in the building. I was just down there in the
Atlanta.
sticks.
I'll be down there later this year.
Mississippi is the sticks. I didn't see any
London.
cows though. I didn't see any cows, but I enjoyed the slower pace, the fresher air. Where I was at, the water is brown because apparently they say sap from a tree or whatever from roots leach into the water. But I don't know if that's true or not, but the water is super moisturizing.
Interesting.
Super moisturizing, like crazy.
I mean, that would make sense though. If there's like sap, basically you're talking about the lifeblood of that tree is permeating into the water. It would be no different than, like a coconut water, right? It's basically a whole food that is now integrating into the water. Yeah. I mean, you have the sap, which is going to have natural sugars and fructose. Now you're talking about electrolytes, baby.
Right. It's definitely good. It's good water from what I could tell. Mr. didn't like my comment about the sticks.
Mississippi and the sticks, Doc.
I knew somebody was going to say something. That's why I said it twice. Nobody wants to live in the sticks. No, I can't. It don't matter if I say Arkansas the sticks. It doesn't matter if I say, Steve, where do you think the sticks be at?
Utah. I mean, Wyoming.
It doesn't matter who's like. Don't nobody want to be in the sticks. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
Can you do another AHA after dark? I'll tell you where we are going to do an AHA after dark. we're gonna do an Age After Dark at the retreat. Hey man, after dark last year, they was wilding.
Yeah, they was wilding.
They was wilding after dark, man. I was trying to get up in the hot tub. They was trying to jump in with me. They was getting their party on. We said, all right, man, that's it. We're done for the day. And it got after dark. Conversation started to get real. You know what I'm saying? We was talking about relationships, trying to find or looking for relationships and doing so in a healthy way, right? Like, matter of fact, really quickly, before you talk more about the retreat, since we're on that topic, there was a video that was sent to me, a reel by Yaki, of course. And he was talking about, of course, vibrations and relationships, and how when you have two people in a relationship, whether it is a friendship, you and a spouse, right? Someone you're dating, right? Someone that you're married to, whatever, the spouse, if you are not on the same level vibrationally, right, you're going to struggle. And this is something that anyone that grew up, right, in church, right, you've heard this scripture before, you must be equally yoked, right? And sometimes we hear that and we think that as in like, well, we have to have the same goals, or we think about it spiritually or religiously, like we have to also believe the same things. But when you think about this from a health standpoint or from a health side, it's really about, are we eating the same things? Because if we think about energy and we think about vibrations, you look at fruit and you look at the amount of energy that is created when we eat fruit in the body. It's different than when you eat meat or when you eat a processed food or when you eat beans or even vegetables. They're different. So if you have somebody who's eating a lot of fruits and a lot of leafy greens and a lot of like raw vegetables, they're going to resonate on a higher frequency energetically than someone who's eating a standard American diet. And a lot of times you have people that we are forced to pay attention to root chakra, which is really basically in our carnal form. So it is our physical form. It's based in like sex and it's based in physicality. And it's the lowest of the chakras, which they're all important, right? But a lot of times you have someone who is eating one way, who's meditating or they're praying, right? They're constantly growing spiritually. They're doing meditation or they're breathing exercises. They're eating well. They're going to resonate on a higher frequency. And then if you have someone who's not, you will see these people start to grow apart. Not only will they start to grow apart, like we've seen this also with fasting. And anybody who has ever done any kind of long-term fasting or just even small fasting over a period of time will see this. They will notice that they will start slowly moving away from certain people in their life, certain friends and family. And we have had people that have literally ended relationships. I know people that have started, like they were in marriages and that have ended marriages because they're just like, I've been on this journey and I don't understand, but we just don't get along anymore, right? And it's not that they're not supported. They don't understand what it is. And I'll explain to them, it's because you're vibrating on a different frequency now, right? John, great example. When he first started, he was in a relationship and he was one of the first people that we know that went through this. And he was like, he broke up with his girlfriend. And he was like, I don't really understand why, right? We just stopped working. And that's really important to understand. And it's one of those cons to fasting and changing your diet, because you are really going to genuinely see the people around you. Are these people that you need to have around you? Are these people truly supporting you? And if they are, you will then see that they're resonating on the same level. If they are not, then you will see that there will be discord that will then start to be created between you and that other person. This is why you see friendships start to go away. This is why you see relationships start to go away. And we sometimes see this as a problem, but this is deep spiritual work, right? When we start resonating on a different frequency. So it's very important that when you are going through your journey, because we talked about, somebody asked me about Age After Dark, at the retreat, we're going to have some discussion about this, about looking for different partners that are on our same level, people that are going to support us on our journey. And even if they're not where we are they open-minded enough to then get in line and then get on the bandwagon? Even if that just means that they just start adding some fruit in their diet, they just start doing smoothies for breakfast, right? And then maybe dinner, they're still eating not the best. Are they moving in that same direction? And when you start to realize how important this is, it'll have you looking at people very differently of who you allow in your life. And not only will you not just be looking at them physically, right? Are they attractive to you? But are they attractive to you in your heart, in your spirit, right? Are they attractive to you in that way? So that's one of the things that I plan on definitely touching on, right, at the retreat when we go after dark, baby.
Yeah. That is scary for a lot of people. But what I will say is you can't allow fear to stop you. Because people, we live in a state of confusion. We live in a state of, we're constantly under a large amount of stress. Our relationships play a big role in this. And it's not even just these interpersonal relationships. It could be your job. It could be other forms of relationships that you have. You really want to be able to do this work holistically. That's why the holistic journey is really important. And I love the fact that we get an opportunity to talk about these different levels of things. Because I think a lot of people, this is something that should be innate to us, but because of our programming and, just society, we've lost the ability to sense. We've lost a lot of our senses. I've talked about this before. We have hundreds of senses, not 5. I know this is 10, but I'm just saying 5 and 5. We have hundreds of senses, and we've lost our senses, and they've become very dull. Sometimes we're still tapped in. Some people will still be tapped into certain things. They won't really understand what it is. So going through this wellness journey, I think, helps to bring all that information to the surface, so that you could utilize the power that you have, because we're very powerful. Human beings are very powerful. If you think about nature, this is the thing I always kind of like to help myself understand how powerful we are. You look at birds, eagles can see for, like, I don't know, they can see a mouse from 2 miles up in the sky or whatever. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but you know what I'm saying. Like their eyes are crazy, right? They can see like everything. And you have animals like gorillas that are just extremely powerful. Crows are like highly intelligent and have these amazing networks for communication. Trees are amazing for, there's a fungus that spreads for miles underground and connects all the plants and trees and stuff. So you have nature that shows, you see all this amazing stuff in nature, right? Whatever made those things in nature made us too. We like to separate ourselves from nature, like we have 2 different creators. All those amazing things that are in nature, the same thing, whether it's the Big Bang, God, Allah, whoever you believe in, whoever made nature made us too. So we're just as amazing as those creatures and those animals and plants. And they're constantly trying to reinforce how insignificant we are, because that's the only way that you could keep people contained in this little box we call life. You have to trick them into thinking that they are less than what they are. We're going to talk a little bit more about that as we get into the main topic, but I want to make sure I'm going to put the link for the retreat here in the chat for y'all. It's also in the description if you guys want to join. It's a 3-day retreat, August 20th through the 23rd. We're going to cook for you guys a little bit. We're going to cook a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We're going to make sure y'all don't go hungry. Everything's going to be made from scratch. It's going to be delicious. Anybody who joined the event, the retreat last year, y'all already know the food was fire. Me and Mel had a cook-off, and we made some really fire soup. But Steven's going to be there in full effect. He already told me.
I ain't cooking though. I mean, I'm saying I'll assist, but I'm not going to be in a cook-off.
Everybody's cooking.
Because if it was up to me, we eating salad and mangoes.
Nah, they want something a little bit more fancy than that.
I know. I'm just saying, but that's, you know what I'm saying. No, I got a dish for y'all, man. I got a dish for y'all.
Yo, man, bro. I might make those green beans, Steve.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that'll knock them on their feet.
Chris stole my recipe.
I stole Steve's idea and I saged it. I made it better. You don't know. You haven't tasted mine, so you don't know.
I mean,
Oh. Somebody was saying they was having trouble booking the room. I put Shell's email in the chat, marshellia@ahealthyalternative.org. Just email Shell directly if you're having any trouble booking. All right. So today we are going to be talking about how to 10x your weight loss with this one little secret. All right. Now,
little hack.
It's a hack. It's a hack. It's a life hack. It's a lifestyle thing. I had a meeting with a client a couple of days ago, and she was talking about how her weight loss. She's basically like, I can't lose weight. And the more I talked to her, the more I realized that it wasn't that she couldn't lose weight, it was that she couldn't keep the weight off. That was the problem she was having. And I wanted to bring that to the forefront of the conversation because perspective is important. Her perspective was that she wasn't losing weight, but in reality, she was. So here's the problem. If you think you can't lose weight, so you're going to be focusing your energy on trying to lose weight because you think you can't lose weight. It seems silly, seems like a small thing, but the tweak that she needed to make was switching to figuring out how to maintain her weight loss. Maintaining weight loss and losing weight are two different things. So for some of you out there, you guys might be struggling with your weight loss journey, but it's not really weight loss that you're having a problem with. It's very likely that it's maintaining your weight loss that is the biggest issue. So I'm all about solutions. And of course, Stephen and I, as well as, me and other coaches, we've had these discussions many times, like how can we help the community be more efficient? And I do take a lot of burden on myself, and I know I probably shouldn't, but Stephen talks about communication a lot. And you said something very recently about communication, I think in one of your IGs. You were saying that if somebody doesn't grasp the information that you're disseminating, it may not be because it may not be on them. It's not necessarily on them. It may be on the communicator. It may be on the person that is disseminating that information. You have, as a communicator, you have to get on the level of the person the audience that you're looking to communicate to. You have to speak to them in a language that they can understand. So I take a lot of burden on when, I see people struggling and yo-yoing a lot. And once again, I probably shouldn't, but I do. What I learned by being a part of this community is that the community is the most powerful weapon that we have available. So Stephen early was talking, and this is perfect. He was talking about relationships. When people go on their fasting journey or wellness journey, when their mate, their partner, is not in alignment with what they're looking to accomplish, it becomes a burden. And I'm sure you guys have seen this in your own life. So what I've always encouraged people to do is become a part of a community where you have like-minded individuals. It's like a cliche thing to say, but it's so powerful. And you see it throughout history. This is not new. This is not a new concept. When you have two or more people that come together on one accord, there is that third mind that is created from the synergy that two or more people create. When you have 10 people, it's expanded, and so on and so forth. I don't think that as a community or as a group, we're taking advantage of the energy that we can get from each other. We don't take advantage of that nearly enough. It's like we're just on the internet and we're kind of our own little individual people. And this is the reason why I push community so hard with a healthy alternative. You know, from day one, I wanted people to feel like this is a community, a family, because I knew that that would help to create a bond, and it really aids in getting better outcomes. So what's the secret to 10xing your weight loss? It is being part of a community that is hyper focused on the lifestyle changes that you want to make. Because what I often see, people will get all excited. They'll see a video and they're like, oh man, this is great. I want to do this. And then they watch the video and they take whatever notes they have, whatever that it might be, and they go off on their own, and you never see them again. If you want to be successful with your weight loss journey or just your wellness journey in general, you need to tap into a community that can feed you. Just like your preachers used to say, well, I'm gonna feed you today. And I used to get excited because, you know, back in the day at church, they would feed you sometimes. But he'd be like, I ain't talking about food. I'd be like, man, come on, man. I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? The fried chicken and everything. They was killing us in them churches, y'all. The fried chicken and the pies and all of that stuff. I never had one healthy meal at church. You got to be connected to a community that could feed your energetic being. This gets very frustrating. It gets tiresome. And if you're around a group of people in real life that aren't on the same page as you, it becomes a burden and you just end up yo-yoing. You'll gain a little bit of energy, a little bit of motivation. You'll go off, you'll do whatever, you'll lose 20 pounds, and then you'll settle right back into your old habits and you're right back at square one. And that cycle etches away at your psyche. People become so defeated to where they basically start to believe, I can't do this. I can't lose weight. I can't be successful. Now you're creating negative affirmations that will help to bring forth that reality of I can't. Earlier, I told you all the same thing that created nature. There's a beetle that runs so fast it blinds itself, right? Like, there are some incredible creatures out there. We are made by the same thing that made those incredible creatures. Whales that are the size of a football field. I don't know if that's true or not, but it sounds good. There might be a whale out there that big, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Them sperm whales, or you know what I mean?
Sperm whales get big, man.
Yeah, I mean, 100 yards, I can see that.
Tell me how you have a seed, right? You have a seed, looks dead, no life. There's nothing moving, nothing, right? Been sitting dormant for 2-3 years. And from that seed, an oak tree can sprout. Or a what them trees called? Them redwoods. Them redwoods, Steve, the ones that get up to 150, 200 feet. Isn't that what them?
Yeah, man. And they're thick too.
They're thick.
Girthy. You can't wrap your arms around them things.
Comes from a seed. Well, technically, those seeds are a little bigger. They're probably about that big. That is the same thing that created that seed that can turn into a freaking redwood created you. You are capable. So what we did was we revamped our accountability group. This is the secret sauce. And I know it's not what y'all might have been expecting. You know, people always want some trick. They always want, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do this every day and lose weight fast. Your problem is probably not losing weight. Your problem is probably maintaining a healthy lifestyle so that when you lose the weight, you keep it off.
Hey, that's a whole video right there in and of itself. Go ahead and write that down. Make a note of that.
They got it on the video.
That's I'm gonna let you keep cooking. Unless you want me to cook.
It seemed like you got your burners going.
Hey man, you are absolutely correct. And I can attest to this from my own personal experience, because I went from, you know, for those that know my story, when I was focusing on myself and nothing else, I was able to lose the most weight. I was able to grow the most spiritually and emotionally as I was able to lock in to what I was doing. And this is obviously, right, AHA as a community was just a baby. But I was locked into the community, as in I was in the Facebook every day. I was answering questions. I was watching YouTube videos. I'm reading books. I'm growing.
Mhm.
And as I continued to stay into the community, I kept growing. Right now, as you know, right, when I stopped and I started to stray away from the community, that's when I started kind of falling back into old habits. I started like slowly gaining a little bit of weight, and then I was able to maintain because I had made some changes, right? But one of the things long term, I've never been able to maintain my weight as I have now. Never in my entire journey. I've been on my journey for 7 years in total. In my entire life, I've never been able to maintain weight like I do now. And one of the biggest reasons for that is because I am locked in, right? I'm in the Facebook group. I'm in Mighty Network or the HA community, right? I'm constantly reading. I'm working with clients. This is what I do. And it doesn't mean that everyone has to be like go gung-ho the same way, right? But staying connected is important. When you go off on your own, right? If you think about the military and you think about a squadron and you are in a formation, the reason that they're in formation is number one, to protect each other. And then it is also to ensure that if there's someone above you, like the Air Force or anything is above you, the formation is known by the Air Force so they don't accidentally bomb you, do friendly fire, right?
Wow.
There is a formation that is made, and anyone can come into that formation, and all they have to do is follow the formation, follow the system, and everybody is protected. Everyone is taken care of. This is what community is about, right? So in this community, so as you mentioned, we're talking about accountability, right? And in one of our groups, one of our last lives, somebody had asked, right, about accountability and like, well, how does this group make me accountable, right? And we have to understand something about accountability because we use that word a lot, but do we really know what the word means? And when we talk about accountability, number one, we have to hold ourselves accountable. Me. No one can truly hold me accountable except me, because no one's with me 24/7. The only thing that we can do is we can then, of course, provide information. We can provide you with guidance and tools and feedback, and all that stuff is very important, right? But at the end of the day, you are the one that has to make the decision that, okay, this is what I'm going to eat today. This is not what I'm going to eat today, right? So when it comes to accountability, like, what are we talking about? The definition of accountable, right, is simply required or expected to justify actions or decisions or to be responsible. Now, when we think about that, required or expected to justify actions or decisions. So if we're talking about an accountability group, this is a group in which the coaches will then require you, right, to and have an expectation for you to justify your actions and your decisions, which means when you come into the group and you start joining the lives and we bring you on camera and we're like, well, listen, how was your week? How was your day? What did you do? What are you working on? I'm then going to require you to now justify your decisions and your actions, because we make excuses to ourselves all the time, and it's easy for us to make an excuse to ourselves, or I want to use excuses. We will justify our actions or decisions to ourselves, and we will accept it. But then when you have someone on the outside, and it's like, hey, Chris, how was your week? Right? Or, I see that you were last on camera 4 days ago, right? Or you were on the last live on Monday. What have you been working on? Okay, Well, that's fantastic that you've been working on this, right? What has your weight loss been, right? What was your weight gain? Where are you at? Oh, well, I put on 4 pounds this week. Okay, now I'm going to require you, I'm going to hold you accountable to those decisions. I'm going to ask you now to justify the reason that you made the decisions that you made. And then it is my job to then provide feedback to help realign you, right, back on track. And then now okay, well, I'm going to make sure that the next time I have to then hold myself accountable, or the next time one of the coaches hold me accountable, I want to give them a positive result. Mm-hmm. There was a when they used to do like the Biggest Loser diets at jobs. It was a really big thing when the Biggest Loser was happening. And there was a study that was done. And in this study, what they found is that people, when doing these challenges, they paid for them. But when doing the challenges, they found that when they paid for them and they had to check in weekly versus when they did them free and they didn't have to check in weekly, these people lost like 40% more weight during these challenges because they were required to be accountable to someone other than themselves. So if you are struggling, not with weight loss, but weight maintenance, and that means I fast for 5 days, can I maintain that weight, right? And we know that the reason that we're not maintaining that weight is because of what we're eating. Has nothing to do with your metabolism, has nothing to do with whether you're fasting versus you're not fasting, right? It's really about what are you now putting in your mouth versus what you were putting in your mouth. So we know that if we then put you in a position to where you are responsible to be accountable or to justify your actions, right, then you have a 40% chance more, or 40% chance higher rate of success.
Yep.
I mean, literally, we're talking about almost doubling your success rate, and that's success based upon fasting. So when we talk about 10x, right? If you talk about this typical weight loss, if you just decrease your calories and increase your exercise and go to the gym, right? The standard average weight loss is 1 to 2 pounds, maybe a week. Maybe a week.
One pound is great.
1 pound a week is great in standard weight loss range, right? So we're talking about fasting where you're looking at 1 to 2 pounds a day, right? In your process of fasting. So you're talking about in a week, let's say on the low end, you're talking 5, 6, 7 pounds. Okay. And then if you're talking about an additional 40% on top of that, because we're going to maintain that while you are in the accountability group. And then the next week, you're then not going to have to start, right, another additional higher. You're going to start at that 5 or 6, 7 pounds that you lost. And then we're going to do more, right? So now we're not talking about now 5 or 7 pounds. Now after 2 weeks, now you're down 14. That's 50% more weight loss, right? Now in 3 weeks, now you're down 20, 21. We tell you, listen, you're going to go through a shrink week. This is what you need to focus on. Focus on taping yourself. Focus on making sure that you understand how your clothes fit. Focus on these items and you know exactly what to expect based on where you are in this journey, whether it's through fasting or whether it is through your dietary changes. No matter what it is that you want to do, we have the experience to walk you through that and then hold you accountable, or to have you then justify your actions. And if we do that, and you are holding yourself accountable and you are justifying your actions one way or the other, then you have a 40% chance higher of being successful, which more than 10x is your weight loss.
Yes,
because typically we're going to yo-yo and we're going to lose 7, gain 3 back. Now you're always starting in the red. Now the next week you got to lose that other 3 that you gained to then lose another 3, right? And then if you gain that weekend, right now it's a cycle. So if we can hold you accountable, if we can get you to now justify your actions and your decisions, then at that point, you will then massively be able to then increase the amount of weight that you lose in a period of time, and not just lose that, right? But then also maintain it, while then also, of course, helping to heal other ailments in the body. So, man, listen, man, we're already cooking in the group.
Oh, we're cooking.
We're already cooking.
People love it.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, you know, are we going to be doing regular calls? Yes. That was the major change we made to the accountability group. So this is a relaunch. And you know what you guys have been asking for is regular calls. You want to have regular touch points, but this is the point, right? Like being able to stay connected. That's what's going to supercharge you. You know that old saying, "I done forgot more than you ever knew." When it comes to when it comes to weight loss and just like this wellness thing, there's a very good possibility that a lot of the information that you're receiving is slipping through the cracks. Like you might have heard something one time, oh, that was good. Maybe you didn't write it down, or maybe you did it once and you just kind of forgot about it. Constantly getting that confirmation and hearing that information over and over is what's going to help to ingrain it into you. Because what we're really talking about here is a lifestyle change. You want to change your lifestyle so that you can automatically produce the outcomes that you want. Highly efficient people, they create lifestyles through systems. They set up systems and they automate things so that they just turnkey their life. All their decisions are, as straightforward and simple as possible. And then after you do it for X amount of time, it just becomes automatic, like tying your shoe. So the goal here with the accountability group is for you to lock into it, learn the system. You're going to definitely be like, it's going to be uncomfortable at first. When I very first started my wellness journey, I was still drinking soda. I actually drank a lot of iced tea, which, I mean, soda, iced tea, whatever, you know what I mean? I was still eating meat, and, just there was a lot of things that I was doing at that time. And in my head, I was like, this is probably always going to be a part of my lifestyle. What I found was when I was intentional, basically what I had to do is I had to determine what's more important to me, this iced tea or my goal of extending my lifespan and having a higher quality of life as I get older. What's more important, eating this steak once a week, having my favorite ice cream once a week, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, or having this lifestyle that I want to be able to produce healthy children and to be able to enjoy those children as I continue to go through this life journey. And I just made the decision that those things that I said I wanted were more important than the temporary pleasure of eating this thing or consuming this thing. Now, the change wasn't overnight. Over the period of months, I was adapting to what I had determined was most important to me. So one of the first things we do in the accountability group, we've already started this process, is we help you to get laser focused on what are the goals and what are the outcomes that you want. Not the surface level stuff, but what are the deep rooted desires that you have, whether it's something along the lines of being able to create generational wealth, and not generational wealth from the standpoint of monetary resources, but it's through your DNA and epigenetics. You want to be able to pass on good genes to your children and your children's children. For those of you who are older, maybe you've already finished having children, you want to be able to enjoy the family that you've created. This is the fruit of your labor, right? You have a family. It's an amazing thing. Isn't it sad that daughters are having to walk down the aisle without their dad because he passed away from a heart attack? Isn't it sad that, grandchildren aren't getting that grandparent experience? Y'all, I mean, most people's grandparents treat their grandchildren like they're just the most special thing in the world. Grandparents are able to give their grandchildren something that the parents can't give because of the dynamics of the relationship. And that's fine. But there's so many children missing out on that because their elders are dying 50, 60 years old. They never get the opportunity to experience that. So these are some of the things that were important to me. I know a lot of people talk about generational wealth, so that's why I mentioned that. But the accountability group is going to help you get focused on those goals. We're going to help break those goals down into milestones so that you can easily digest these steps you need to take every day. Like, what do I need to do today in order to be successful? Right? We do calls 3 times a week. And like Steven mentioned, and this is my big initiative, we want you all interacting. You're going to be interacting with us. We're going to be bringing you on, and we're going to talk. We're going to talk whatever you want to talk about. You want to talk about your why, and how it made you feel. You want to talk about maybe a new recipe you found that you really like. Hey, Chris, what do you think about this recipe? The goal is to interact with you guys and give you a different experience than what you've had in the past. But the main thing is this is not entertainment. You are going to play an active role. This is how you're going to be successful. Because just like I was mentioning earlier, this particular client, I think she was saying that she would lose like 30 pounds, I think, at a time. How come after a year of doing that, how come she hasn't hit her goal? If she's only looking to lose 100 pounds, you would think if I'm losing 20, 30 pounds every walk, I should be at my goal by now, right? The way that you do it is through lifestyle. And one of the best tools that you guys have at your disposal is a community that supports the lifestyle that you want, that's going to turnkey the outcomes that you desire. That's how you do it. That's why Steve's been so much more successful since he's been locked into the group, especially when he was out in Delaware. He was out in Delaware and, around a certain group of people, right? And that group of people weren't in alignment with what he wanted. So as soon as he let that go, and it's painful, right? This is your boys, your friends. Once you let that go, now you get to enjoy the success that you've been hoping for so long. So this group is designed to help facilitate that.
And I just want people to understand that the group is prepared, right? Because Chris was talking about communication, and during communication, it's about meeting someone where they are at, right? I never want anyone to look at me as in I'm unreachable, or I am, right, somebody who is like, well, man, they've been doing this for so long, I can't I can't get on that level, right? Or me or Chris or any one of the coaches. It's like, no, the group is designed to meet you where you are, right? So if you come in and you're like, you know what, I'll be honest with you, I just saw you guys on YouTube. I really don't understand this process. I don't know what to do. We will meet you where you are at. Do not think I need to come in here and have this big understanding of fasting or have this big understanding of what to eat, right? If you're confused about what to eat, we can make it really simple for you, right? It's like there's so much information out there, particularly through social media. It makes it so confusing. And you're just like, I don't know what to eat. They say that tomatoes are bad, right? But they're nightshades. But then someone else says tomatoes are good. They say that we should eat whole foods and make sure that we're eating spinach and kale. But then other people say, well, that's bad for our gut because we can't break this down. These people say that we should be eating meat. But then other people say that it's a carcinogen. I don't know what to eat. And we are being pulled in so many different directions. And it's just like, listen, let's focus on working internally. And then when we start doing some internal work, you will start to know what's going to work well for you. You have a spiritual filter that you then take information and then you run it through that filter. And then you decide within yourself, this information sounds good to me. This resonates with me. And so many of us are off kilter. We are so off in our frequency. We don't know what works well for us, right? This is a feminine energy. This is intuition. This is a gut feeling, right? And women naturally have this a little bit easier than men do, right? But men have it as well. We got to just work a little bit harder. But the problem when it comes to women, we are being bombarded with all different types of chemicals, right? In our beauty products, in our sprays, in our air fresheners, everything. And it is making it very difficult for us to connect to that understanding intuitively. This is one of the big issues with our society. So it's not just about weight loss and fasting. It's about our diet. It's about our social media diet. It's about teaching you how to practice proper self-care. It's about teaching you, my first call, I did a quick breathing exercise. It's about teaching you how to breathe properly. What situations do you need to make sure you slow down and then you breathe in, how that will benefit you. This is a holistic, which means in totality, this is a holistic process. So if you, no matter where you are in this journey, right, we can meet you where you are at. And if you are in a place to where you feel like we can't meet you, then we will find a way to meet that need. I mean, I haven't met anyone that we can't meet them where they are, right? But we will find a way to meet you where you are at if we can't automatically, which I don't even know what that situation would look like because we have an array of coaches all dealing with all different types of things. Mm-hmm. So whether you're dealing with a specific ailment, right? If you need specific herbs, we can talk about it, right? If you are dealing with just being overweight, if you're afraid that, you know, being obese is going to be an issue for you, we can talk about it, right? We have to look at this from the stance of, I want to ensure that the quality of my life gets better. And one of the things that I hear all the time, and I'll kind of end with this, is that, well, Stephen, everything in my life is good. I feel like I'm very intuitive. I feel like, you know, I'm very spiritually connected, but I'm just a little overweight, right? But we have to understand that when we're talking about being in tune and we're talking about being connected, right? Weight is toxicity. It is literally what it is. Being the more weight that you have, the more toxic you are. You can basically equate fat to toxins. So there is no such thing as being overweight and healthy. It's not a real thing, right? And then if you feel like you're connected now, start detoxing. And then you are really going to be connected. If you feel like you are intuitive now, start detoxing. And then you're going to start seeing almost the future, right? So we need to look at this as a process of, it doesn't matter what it is that I'm looking to do. Everything that we teach and the things that we're going to hold you accountable for are going to be things that, number one, you already know that you want to do. And that if you are struggling doing them, that's why we're here. We're here to then make sure that you justify, right, your own decisions and your actions. Because as someone said earlier, we are the masters of mind. What is it? Mind manipulation. Somebody said something earlier. Our brains are master negotiators. I love that. If you hear that again, you know that I took that from you, right? But our minds are master negotiators. But I'm not in your mind, right? Coach Stephen ain't in your mind. And I understand more than anybody probably what 99% of you are going through or are going to go through or have been through, because I've walked the road personally from 400 down to 205. I've walked this road, right? I've walked it back up and then back down. I've been there. So you can't pull the wool over my eyes. I know what it is. Okay? So our job is just make sure that you justify your actions. And if there is not a reasonable justification, it is then our job to then hold you accountable and tell you the truth. Mm-hmm. You know what? Your friends and your weekends are the reason that you are struggling. It's not the fasting. It's not what you're doing through the week. You're doing very well. But here is the reason. Here is, let's pinpoint it. Let's drop a pin in it and say, that's the problem. And if you can do that, right? If we can throw a dart in it and say, well, your Saturday nights are your issue, right? You think that you're doing well and you're eating fruit all throughout the week and, you know, yada, yada, yada. But then you tell me everything you ate Saturday, you're almost doubling all of your caloric intake weekly based upon what you had Saturday because you were out drinking bottomless mimosas. You went to brunch. You were eating fried chicken. You were eating the waffles. You were eating the syrup, right? You had 8,000 calories in one day, but because you ate watermelon all throughout the week, you only had 4,000, right? But in one day, you can literally double the amount of calories you intook. And just because it's one day doesn't change anything. Your body doesn't work on a one-to-one day schedule. It works long-term, right? So it looks at it and says, well, you didn't have 7,000 calories Monday through Friday and then Sunday. It says that you had 18,000 or 14,000 throughout the week, which, if you think about it that way, you're in a calorie surplus, which means you're going to then gain weight. This is the stuff that we don't think about, right? But our job is to help you then throw that dart in your situation and see where is the issue, where is the problem, and if we can pinpoint it, now we can work with it. So that's what we're here to do.
You know, it's funny actually because a lot of people do that we're inconsistent, right? You always hear consistency is key. It's so funny. I was having this conversation about relationships. You know, people talk about, if you say, okay, what's like the key to a good relationship? Most people will agree communication is like at the top, right? But we're all poor communicators. We always hear consistency is key. Everybody knows that, but we're the most we are so inconsistent. It's just like, you know, none of this is a secret. There's no secrets. We know everything. It's like we choose to ignore. You know what I'm learning about nature, and this is the beauty of my wellness journey. Nature is simplistic. All of the answers to your questions are simple. There are no complicated answers. As a matter of fact, there's no complicated problems. When you get to the core of any problem that you might be dealing with, it's always a very simple solution, and it's a very simple causality. Root causes are very simple. Science and traditional wisdom complicate things. They use fancy terminology and fancy this and that because they want you to think that you have to have a degree to understand this and to basically self-diagnose and self-heal. That's the biggest trick that has ever been cast on us as a society. Your body is self-healing. You don't need any degree. The best thing you could do is get out of your body's way, which is why fasting works so freaking well. You're literally just being like, okay, body, you know more than me. I'm going to go ahead and move out your way and let you do what you do. I saw in the chat someone was asking about paralysis, facial paralysis. Will fasting help? Yes. Fasting will help. You may begin to get sensation back, but it's a very difficult question to answer because, you know, depending on what's causing it, you're likely going to need, you're probably going to want a therapy that focuses on that root cause. Fasting is kind of like a shotgun. When you're in close corners and the robber's in the house, you want to use a shotgun. You could take out 2-3 suspects, one shot. And that's beautiful. But sometimes the target you're trying to hit is too far away or it's too small, and you need a precision tool. And this is kind of where coaching comes in, right? So what are we talking about? We're talking about group coaching. The accountability group is group coaching, where you can get some of those more precision answers. On our website, if you go to the Work With Us tab, okay, go to the Work With Us tab, there's a page where you can find the coaches and you can reach out to coaches individually. Someone said, have we ever thought about doing a Biggest Loser contest? Yeah, we actually did a Biggest Loser contest. We called it the Biggest Winner because we like positive affirmation.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. It was a lot of fun, but we haven't done one since. So I know that some of you all think that there's a magic bullet. There is not. I'm here to tell you there is no magic bullet. But that's okay because we have solutions that far exceed many of the traditional options. A lot of times people that come to AHA are people that have exhausted all the traditional options, you know, and that's what you often will see, especially in our testimonials. I've tried everything, X, Y, Z, you know, and now I'm here. It's unfortunate because this should be the first place, not necessarily AHA, but holistic wellness or holistic practices should be the first thing. And 100 years ago, it was. Rockefeller screwed up the medical industry. The healthcare industry that we see today is the vision of a mad genius. And he was very successful. But our ancestors knew to use herbs and to use fasting and to use different natural therapies, whether it's acupuncture or even chiropractic work. We also understood the importance of oral care. Then oral care isn't about aesthetics. Each of your teeth are connected to different organs and systems in your body. We understood the body much better. So they've done a number on us over the past 100 years for sure. The past 100 years have been pretty bad. And I think that if we don't really get a grip on this, things are going to get really out of control. The rates of disease are skyrocketing, especially a lot of the newer diseases. Cancer is not really an old disease. Like, yes, you can find remnants of cancer. Yeah, I get it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm talking about is the prominence of cancer, like the way cancer affects us today is infinitely different from 100 years ago. It's insane how in just 100 years, the rate of cancer, autism, diabetes, etc., has skyrocketed. You guys got to be accountable for yourselves. And once again, like I mentioned earlier, your lineage. This whole idea that diseases are passed on, it's true, but it's not an insurmountable thing, right? It's not like, oh, something was passed on and now you're stuck with it because your genes. It's true. Like, you do want to pass on good DNA, but if you do have something that you were quote unquote born with, you can surpass that. Like, you don't have to live with anything. It's all up to you. So our goal is to just create that space for you guys, for those who are like-minded, that want to be held accountable, that want to go to the next level, that are tired of yo-yoing, because that's essentially what a lot of people are doing. And it's exhausting, right? Wouldn't it be better to just get to your outcome and then move on to the next place in your life? Why? Who wants to keep fighting weight for the next 5 years? That's ridiculous. Being obese is unnatural. We were talking about this earlier. It is unnatural to be sick. Did y'all know that? In modern times, they have convinced us. And this is why sickness is so rampant, because we have accepted it as a natural occurrence. You are not designed to be sick. Sickness happens. Sickness is something that happens when you're not taking care of yourself, when you're essentially out of alignment with nature. When you look at animals in nature, they don't get sick. The only time an animal in nature gets sick is if they're poisoned for some reason, or they come in contact with some filthy water that we probably manufactured. Something that we as humans have done will make animals sick. But in areas where there's little to no human traffic, animals don't just get sick. And they live for hundreds of years too, by the way. Turtles and whales and, you know what I mean? All these creatures, they live way longer in nature. I read an article a few years ago that said that, I think it was killer whales or something that live in aquariums live longer than the ones in the ocean. Yeah, right. Y'all got to be careful about what you read, man. Stay live. Okay? The propaganda machine is pumping out. Did you guys know that they made it legal to use propaganda against us? This is in America, okay? I know we got a few people from different parts of the world right now on the call, but in America, propaganda is legal. So if propaganda is legal, how can you trust anything that you get from mainstream outlets, whether it's the news or the government or the FDA or whatever? Propaganda is legal. And the other thing too, and this is important. Y'all got to understand, the United States, as well as all these other countries, these are corporations. There's no different from Walmart. This is not a country, it's a corporation. If y'all don't understand that, a lot of this stuff's going to go over your head. This is a corporation. It's a business. And all of your little cities and states, they're quasi corporations or quasi. Yeah, I think that's the right term. So they're all businesses. These institutions are not put here in order to serve you. They're put here to serve whoever created that corporation and whoever is a shareholder or whatever, has an interest in it. And it has nothing to do with you. You as a citizen, you're just a number. If you guys aren't going to take control of your own health and wellness, if you're not willing to be accountable, I like that somebody asked how the group is going to hold them accountable, but I'm also kind of like, why would you ever expect anything to hold you accountable? You know what I mean? Like, it's good to ask the question, hey, what can I expect? But then the energy is like, and I don't know, I might be reading into it wrong. It's like, you got to be accountable. I can't make you do anything. At the end of the day, can't nobody make you do anything. And why wouldn't you want to be accountable? Like, what? Why is accountability like kryptonite? I don't get that. Isn't it nice to set a goal, meet that goal, and then go and tell somebody, hey, I met my goal? I love that feeling personally. I take pride in that. Why don't we have pride anymore? It's like in this society right now, however you feel is always validated. It's always validated, and it's always to the degree where it's toxic. If you're obese, that whole body positivity movement is one of the worst things that ever happened. Because obesity is sickness. That's why. It's not good for you. Why are we validating things? It's like you wouldn't do that if you saw somebody on the corner smoking crack. If you saw your uncle on the corner smoking crack, you wouldn't be like, hey, uncle, go ahead, man. Get that high. Get that dopamine hit. So why do we do that for people who are dealing with obesity or weight? Like, why is that okay? Once again, it's because we've been tricked into thinking that sickness is normal. It's a part of life, right? So if it's a part of life, yeah, let's validate it. I want you to feel good about it because there's nothing you can do about it anyway. There was a narrative that I used to believe because the mainstream outlets taught me this, that everybody has cancer inside, just waiting for a trigger. Cancer's just sitting there waiting to pounce on you. And I genuinely was afraid that one day, no matter what I did, no matter how many supplements I took, I was going to pass away early from cancer. Like, it was a genuine issue for me. I also had a heart issue, and I thought I would have a heart attack one day. And I lived with that fear for decades. It wasn't until I decided to take control of my health and wellness journey through personal accountability that I finally was like, man, that was a facade. That was fake. There's just fear-mongering. They want you all to think that you have no control because you are infinitely powerful. And if you think that you have no control, then you can be controlled. But if you understand how infinitely powerful you are, you can never be controlled. And their entire system will fall apart. Whoever created these companies, America and Germany and Ohio, they're all companies, man. We call them cities and states and countries and continents, and it's like, it's not. So anyway, I definitely want you all to join us for the retreat. Got the retreat coming up August 20th through the 23rd. We're going to Pigeon Forge in Tennessee. We're going to be getting it in. We got a special guest speaker coming all the way from across the pond. Well, she's not technically from across the pond. She's in Canada, but she was originally across the pond. So she has that accent. Steve, should I tell him who's coming? I don't think I've told him.
Hey, man. Hey, tell him, man. Tell her what she specializes in.
What she specializes in? I don't want to get it wrong. I think she's changed.
All right, well,
Huh?
Don't tell him then.
I could tell you that she does live blood analysis.
Whew, boy, I'm gonna tell you what, man, that thing right there gonna be awesome.
That's gonna be a lot of fun. That's gonna be cool, man.
That was when I got my live blood analysis. That was a major turning point in my wellness journey, because then I started to see in live and color what specifically I had going on, and this is different than a blood test. This is not stuff that you'll necessarily find in a blood test. A live blood analysis looks literally at your blood cells under a microscope. And I was able to see certain things that I had going on. And as I started to work on those things, everything started changing. So she's going to be doing those.
Remember, y'all, the application of knowledge is power. So, we have tools and things at our disposal that we could use to help not only keep us accountable, but also keep us efficient. None of this stuff should take so long. We can knock out a lot of these goals much more quickly. And I think also what I love about, membership, the group and the community, the more comfortable people are with being a part of this community, this group, the more they share, the more we all learn. We learn and grow much faster together. And these really small groups, well, it's small now, but I'm sure it'll grow. But I love the infancy stage of these groups where you could kind of get established and build friendships and relationships. We've had people that came to our last retreat that still talk today. They met at the retreat and they talk to this very day, If you're international, you want to join the retreat, you just register and you fly on out. There's nothing special. All of the information, I'm gonna drop the link here in the chat for y'all again. All the information's on the website, and if you have questions, like if you have specific questions, you can reach out to Shell. Her information is on the retreat page as well. It's $600 for the retreat. It's 3 days. Like I said, we've got several meals planned for you guys. The retreat has a jacuzzi. Well, two jacuzzis, Steve?
Two
jacuzzis, a pool, an arcade room, a theater room, a huge kitchen, a wraparound patio. We're going to be in nature with the pine trees and the deer and all them. It's going to be like a Bambi a cartoon or something. And we've got four speakers, right, Steve? Steve, Jasmine, me, Sasha. Sasha's our special guest. I'm gonna see if I can find her interview real quick before we get off, because Sasha's story is crazy. Sasha had stage 4 cancer, and basically they told her to get comfortable. There was nothing more they could do. She had done everything under the sun to treat her cancer, and nothing was working. She met a guy who was able to essentially teach her how to heal herself in 90 days. She had been sick for years at that point. And this man taught her how to heal herself in 90 days. She was so grateful for the experience that she turned around and opened her own wellness practice and now teaches those methods to other people. That's who's coming to special guest and speak. She's kind of rebranded herself as a cancer coach, because that was, the main thing that I think she wanted to help people with cancer, but she helps people with all sorts of issues.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Tenacious Butterfly.
Did someone already grab it?
No, that's just someone just dropped her name.
I'm about to say, y'all I am.
Somebody said, I saw a video today where you mentioned coconut water. Got some today. Terrified it would spike my sugar. It didn't. Thank you for the tip. Guys, I'm probably gonna end up doing a whole lesson on sugar in the accountability group, because we really need to. It's probably the conversation I have more than anything else. Sugar in fruit. And we have to understand that we have been lied to. Not only have we been lied to, we don't understand fully, holistically, what things are doing. So sugar in and of itself in fruit is completely different than any other sugar. It's different from your white sugar. It's different from your raw sugar. It's different from your brown sugar. It's different from high fructose corn syrup. It's different from any other processed sugar. And to be honest with you, they truly should just have a different name.
Yeah.
They really just need to have a different name, because they're not the same. We should just call it fruits and then sugar. Right? They really should just be completely different. But the way that they're processed in the body, the way that the body digests them, like just everything is completely different. So fruits are very healing to the body. They're very energetic. They're highly energetic. And fruits are never going to make you fat. Fruits are never going to be the cause of diabetes. Fruits are never going to be the cause of cancer. They're never going to be the cause of anything. Like literally, no one has ever been able to show me someone who is healthy and then they eat fruits almost primarily, and then now they have diabetes, or now they have cancer, or now they have kidney failure, or now they have any other disease. It literally is impossible. The fruit is at our core the primary of what we should be eating, because it is the most energetic thing to our cells. And our cells are the things that they need energy in order to detox, in order to release, in order to hydrate. You need to then hydrate, heal everything from the inside out. And there's nothing that does that better than anything else other than fruit. So even if you see stevia is absolutely a processed sugar, it ain't no different. Stevia, sweet and low, they're all processed sugar, and they're horrible.
Those are horrible,
right?
I think a study recently came out about stevia. I think
it was. I think it was. I mean, aspartame. I mean, all of them. They're all the same.
Oh my God.
They're terrible, right? I mean, honestly, like when we just start looking at these things, we can find ways that are better, right? Instead of using sugar, use date sugar or date syrup, which is literally just getting dates, put them in a blender with water or something, and they're very sweet. Use raw, local, organic honey. There are better options. Like we're told, like there's this attack on honey because it's not vegan because it uses bees. Are y'all what? Bees pollinate everything. If bees get wiped out, we lose food. We die. Bees ain't going nowhere.
Let me say something about this too. This attack on honey. There's a reason. Look, once again, this is why I told y'all earlier. It is legal in America to use propaganda. If it is legal to use propaganda, I need y'all to understand that. Bees, there are healing therapies that people use from this. They use the sound vibration of bees as a healing therapy. When the bees are forming the honey, that same frequency is embedded in their honey. That's probably one of the main reasons why honey is so good for you. It's the frequency from the bees, the frequency from their wings, that frequency is embedded in the actual honey. But there are centers that you can go to and listen to the bees buzz. It's a healing modality. And by the way, man, veganism does not equate to healthy. So I'm so I hate when people call me a vegan.
Me too.
Because
don't call me that.
Because I don't have anything against vegans. Don't misunderstand me. I don't like being classified that way because my goal is health. It's not veganism. And it's two different things. You got to know that. It's two different things. And if you get caught up in the veganism thing and you're interested in health, you're going to be misled. That's why it's important to understand and create that distinction. Not because vegans are bad or anything like that. Shoot, I guess Mel considers himself a dietary vegan. He said he hates that word, but he uses it though. Anyway, it was fun to get on here and chat with y'all. Hit the like button before we rock out. Especially y'all who's been here the whole time. Y'all already know we've been dropping nuggets the whole time. Join the accountability group. It's fire in there. Everybody who's in there right now, they're like, man, you know what, Chris? You know what, Steve? The energy in this group is different. Like we really appreciate y'all for this. You could tell. You'll be able to tell as soon as you get in. You're gonna get invited to a secret group on AHA Communities, and that's where you're gonna get all your information. We have your wellness walk guide there. It's a full guide to kind of help jumpstart everything. All of the calls up until this moment have been archived, so you guys can dive in. And also there are some lessons that I'll be doing and have done that are available as well. So it's jam-packed. It's $30. It's a subscription. You guys can come and join. Check it out. And if you like it, stay. And if you don't like it, don't stay. But I guarantee you one thing. If you come with an open mind and a desire to be accountable and the intention to interact and play an active role in your health and wellness journey, you'll be better. I can guarantee you that. That's 100%. You cannot do the right things and not be better. And better is better. The next fasting challenge is the JR72. We had to move it back to August, y'all. We had to move it back to August. So it's going to be starting in August. We're going to have the final date available for you, hopefully by the end of the week. What has delayed releasing the challenge is we are doing something extremely special for the challenge. Steve, I don't know. Should I tell them? I don't know. Should we wait? You know how they get when I tell them stuff.
Hey, man. Nah, man, we didn't get.
I'm gonna go ahead.
We gotta hold off a second for it, man.
Steve don't want me to tell y'all. Steve don't want me to tell y'all. Look, we got some very special things coming. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all this. If you don't join the challenge, you won't get access to it. You got to join the challenge to get access. Well,
hey, man, you might as well tell him now. This man can't keep no secrets.
Hey, look, we developed a line of detox herbs that are going to be coming out. They're going to be launching with the JR72. And they work. All right.
Huh. Oh, I've been testing them. I got another test next week. I didn't even tell Chris.
You got some tests coming. All right, good. They work. I'm so excited to launch this. This is something I've been wanting to do for probably a good year now. And we're only going to have a limited supply. Unfortunately, there's limits to everything, but dang, man, I don't even know if I should have told y'all, man. It's okay. But it's coming with the JR72. So we'll be announcing it. If I can lock down the shipping date for the herbs and everything, and I'll know when it's going to be ready, then I'll announce the JR72 next week. I always get in trouble. Shell always gets mad at me for doing this, but I'll be getting excited, man, because I've been working on this for a while now. I'm excited, man. Come on, Steve.
Hey man, I ain't mad at you. Listen, listen, man. We've been testing the herbs, man. People been asking for them, and we had them specially formulated by a master herbalist, to put them together based upon our standards and a high quality. And hey, so hey, as a detox herb, hey, I'm telling you, man. Hey.
Somebody said, baby wipes. You know what? I think we're gonna have some suggestions for y'all actually, for that actually. But someone said, is Restore out? No, Restore is not out. No, Restore is not out. The herbs
here. What you mean? It's right here. It's right next to me, baby. It's
the herbs and the root products. They're two different entities. You can still combine them. It's not one is better than the other. They're made for two different things. As a matter of fact, Restore is designed to restore the microbiome in the gut. So yeah, the herbs aren't designed to do that. Okay. I mean, that one thing that Restore does is incredible. And I'm sure at some point Steve will probably talk more about that, maybe in the accountability group, or because I know you've been doing a lot of research on that gut.
Hey, what was on what? Restore what?
The gut. The microorganisms in the gut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Have we done the duck? I got Steve a duck.
I don't want that duck.
I got Steve a duck. I got a duck and I got Steve a duck. They're on ice right now. I need to take that this month, as a matter of fact.
I don't want that duck.
Keep in mind, y'all, the JR72 and the R72 are two distinct challenges. So we're going to roll out the herbs with the JR72 because the JR72 challenge is specifically focused on detoxification of the body. We're talking about a deep detox and cleansing, clarity of mind. Stephen goes in on his training in the juice. So this one is going to be a little different. It is a fast, but it's a juice fast, right? And juice fasting doesn't net the same results as water fasting. They're for two different purposes. So we want to give you guys the full spectrum of fasting with these challenges. And that's the reason why we developed the JR72. But you guys can still take your root products with it. We just didn't want to overburden people with too many things, because the JR72 is going to be, you're gonna have to create some systems to just help keep yourself accountable as you go through it. But I'm very excited to see what we do. It's going to be our biggest challenge. I guarantee you that. It's going to be our biggest challenge. So, Steve, that's all I got.
All right, that's I'm good too.
Okay, y'all. Thank you for joining us. Hit that like button, share, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Do all that stuff. Peace. We are out of here.